map in the background. So as this goes live, we're ripping. We are ripping. All right, here we go. Let's get this going. What's up, Dylan? Yeah, buddy. I've been doing these lives all the time. Just happened to, I was supposed to work out right now, and my buddy had other things to do. Consequently, I said I'm just going to do a podcast recording. That's what I'm doing right now. Health. Boom. This is my 62th podcast too, Dylan. I've done it since September. 62, man. Full go, all out speed. All right, let's make sure everything's set. And then we're ripping it. Jen, what's up, Jen? I am going to let this rip. Hope you enjoy it. You're training, you're tracking, you're putting food in your mouth, you're weighing, you're measuring, you're waking up early, you're staying up late, you're doing all the things you need to get your body weight where it needs to go. Just step on the scale, nothing's happening. It's exact same, almost to the point 0 pounds. That's a problem. And a lot of guys around this start telling me stories about, it's got to be my age, my hormones are off, my metabolism's slowing down. I mean, technically, studies say that things don't actually start slowing down until about 60 or so with guys. Here's what I want you to consider. If your weight is stalled, it's not a mystery. There's usually breadcrumbs that have been left around the last week or two as to why something's going on. It's inside your week that is canceling out your efforts. Sometimes it's a weekend. Today, I'm going to show you 5 reasons this happens in exact order to fix them. Welcome to Driven for Health. This is episode 62. I'm proud to be here. Just yesterday, just celebrated 2,500 downloads and streams on my Spotify for Creators. That's awesome. I started with zero. It took me about 3 months to get to 1,000, weeks to get to 2,500. We're starting to get some acceleration, and I hope that every guy that's listening in, every person is enjoying this, that they are getting a lot out of it. I'm putting a lot of energy into the podcast. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. I find it to be a more authentic way for me to be able to deliver content of value that people will get from. I'm working on not talking so much as well and getting the episodes down to 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes in that range, under 30 for sure. All right, today we're going to talk about why your weight is dropping, even if you feel like you're doing everything right. And then this is for guys over 40, 50s that have been struggling. They hold a high standard in life, they crush in the career, they end up being really successful there with family. I've got 4 kids, and I definitely self-identify with being successful. And but their body isn't changing. It's a bunch of out of shape Brians in a sense. And that's who I help best. You gotta get that energy up, gotta get your body going. Let's start with the frustration here. One of the most frustrating things is I find working in the fitness field for over 23 years is working hard and getting no feedback. You're at the gym 4 days a week. I actually literally had a conversation with this yesterday with someone. Trains 4 days a week. He's getting his steps. He's eating healthy, in quotations, healthy. He's at 210, at 5'11". He's not necessarily way overweight, but he's not necessarily in good. He's definitely in the overweight category. He should be around 190 or so. We need to lose 20 pounds, get him back into healthy weight. and he was telling me about how all the things he was doing was good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna tell him wrong. He probably is doing a lot of things right, but he's missing a mark somewhere, and he really wanted to focus on fitness. Need the perfect workout and exactly what to do in the gym, and honestly, sometimes that's not the issue. I literally have people just walking and losing weight. It's pretty wild. Sure, we do exercise in the Call to Rise program. We have the 5 pillars, the call, identity. Number 2 is the forge, the fitness, the build your body. Pillar 3 is the fuel, that's the nutrition. Pillar 4 is the code, the mindset, what you think. And then pillar 5 is the brotherhood, the community support aspect of it, where guys are around other like-minded men. This is probably the best part that sets my program apart, is that you're in the trenches with other guys dealing with the exact same situations, challenges that you have as well, and can learn from them and push and encourage each other, because if you're in your 40s, you don't have a lot of them. I got 3, I got technically the 4 amigos, but 3 of them I work out with, and after that, anyone else in my life is an acquaintance, and that's just the truth of the matter. This gentleman needed some other advice, and we're gonna be working together, get him in the program to help him understand what he needs to do. If if things are stuck, it probably isn't gonna be your metabolism, genetics, hormones, age. Those things do matter, and they can take into account. A lot of people were, "Oh, do we do a blood test right away?" I've never asked anyone to do a blood test, and I've had pretty wild results with people. Listen to episode 60. I recap Lucas, Mike, and Andy's story about how they lost 30 pounds, and 38 pounds doing basic stuff, l being held accountable, doing the things that they're supposed to do. Now, again, sometimes the metabolism, genetics, and stuff matter, but that's not the truth of it, and most of the time, the cells come from something similar that you haven't measured yet. That's the main idea for today. Fat loss is basic, calories in, calories out is a very true, real thing, and but your life doesn't do math like that. The 2 things that drive your results are a target, a specific goal that you have in mind of what you want to define as success for you, and then the ability to stick to that target. That's so helpful, and make sure that you stay on track. Now, a lot of men stay stuck because they are consistent possibly in one area for a certain amount of time, but the target might be wrong. The week might be inconsistent. The day-to-day inputs might be subtly off, and that causes long-term lack of success. Whenever I'm coaching people, and have heard of, there's a couple of live coaching calls that are on here actually tomorrow. And we're going to release another one tomorrow. Podcast will be a coaching call. We have 3 guys going talking about their situation, and there's some other ones. 56 is another live coaching call, and what else? Let me see if I can find one more on my list, because I have a list. So there's that. Those are 2 episodes you can listen to, and I recorded another one last night, Danny and I going over what he's doing, why he's doing it, and how progress is. It's pretty funny. He's down 20 some pounds and swear he was doing it right, but Brian shows up and things happen, which is the whole point of getting a professional. Alright, let's walk through 5 reasons why fat loss stalls, and I want you to listen, even pause and write this down. I want you to fast forward to an identity of who you are at your best self. That's the ends or the scope or the hearing that I want you to have in this conversation of thinking through it at a higher level self, not at a point of someone who feels stuck and doesn't feel like they can ever make progress. That's not the resourcefulness that we need. That's not the success level that we want for you. I work with guys who are ready to take action, that are want to do the work and want to build a sustainable lifestyle from it. Because leaders don't guess, they are tracking, they're measuring, they're adjusting, they're pivoting, they follow through on the things they say they do. Now, before we dive in, if you get some value, love it to see a comment, hit the 5-star review on Spotify or Apple, 10 seconds, bam, that can really help me complete this podcast. I have no signs of stopping. Literally, in January, I least 18 podcasts. I'm gonna try and do a similar amount in February in 28 days. So just gonna keep pumping these babies out. And comment below or on the podcast, what are other topics that you want to learn about? I'm very open to suggestions and will definitely put them in as we go. Producing this much content, I need guidance on what my listeners want. Jumping in, reason number one, your calorie target is wrong for your real life. A lot of guys are in a calorie deficit on paper. They might be using the MyFitnessPal, the online calculator for calories, ChatGPT. Honestly, I'm getting a lot of people, yeah, just use chat to help, and I'm still not making progress. Well, chat literally says that it might give you errors. The one person I had recently in the last, say, 2 weeks said, "Yeah, I'm using chat." They gave me the macros and the calories were 150 more than what chat was suggesting. That's a problem. 150 more can move you out of a calorie deficit and toward a calorie maintenance. And if you didn't move a lot that day, you might be sat at 0 weight loss progress. They get a number. I can't tell you how many times I've actually ran through numbers myself in those calculators to figure out what my macros were. And the only way you can actually do it is literally by tracking and weighing and measuring, or at the very least, tracking closely enough to be able to be successful and then allow yourself to then uh, see how the scale responds. Okay. The the problem isn't the calculator, it's believing the calculator is the truth and the end all be all, and maybe not even adjusting to it. There are 2 type of maintenance calories. The calculated maintenance is an estimate. Please remember that it's an estimate just based off of humans, but that estimate is based off of what you tell the app, the calculator, age, height, weight, activity level. Problem, humans enter the equation here. Most men overestimate their activity and underestimate the amount of food that they eat. "Oh, I lift 4 or 5 days a week, and I'm so active," right? That was the guy that I had a conversation with the other day, and I do audits and health hot seats on this podcast as well. Actually, if you want to have me personally go over your situation, that's what the health hot seat is, deep dive into it and just be in a live coaching session. So if you're interested, then we can look for that to be an option for you. You can check the show notes for that. But if you sit most of the day and you're driving and you're sleeping and you maybe get 4,000 steps, you're not that active, unfortunately. I'm glad you go to the gym, but you're not that active. The calorie isn't gonna watch your real week, your schedule, the stress that it holds, how busy your weekends are. Actual maintenance is reality in that situation then. You think you're in a calorie deficit, but you're not. What we need is data. Data over drama, data over everything. The real amount of steps that you take on basis. My watch right here, I use it regularly. It tells me I've moved about 600 steps so far today. That tells a story on how much I have been active. And if I need to be more active today, it's about 20 degrees out, snow everywhere, and ice. I am not that excited to get outside and move, but I can move other ways. Maybe I can go mall walk. Here's an analogy. I'll try and throw a couple in here to help with this. Using a calculator to set calories is like building a budget in a spreadsheet, but never checking your bank account. The budget looks awesome right? So cross T's, dotted I's, it's all clean and clear, but the bank statement tells you what's really true, what's in the bank. Your scale trend is the bank statement. What's the actual truth of the matter? Focus on this for a quick identity moment. If you don't have trending data, you're guessing. You just don't know where you're at and what's going on. Let's go another layer deeper. Even when you hit your calorie goals, your output can change. This is called NEAT, non-exercise activities genesis. This is me fidgeting and moving and sitting. I'm usually standing. When I'm out in the barn, and you've seen the videos. If you watch the videos, I'll be in my barn. I stand all the time. Right now, I'm inside. It's not as pretty of a background if I'm standing. I guess map here. If you see the map is it's encouraging. My goal, if you've listened to anything, is we're gonna, as a family, we're gonna travel all 7 continents with 4 kids. We've done all 50 states with the 4 kids. My daughter's 10. She's literally been in every state. Then we've been to Europe. We're gonna go to South America in a little bit, and we've been to Africa on a safari, and I was in the Giza pyramid, which is really cool. And then we have to get to Asian and Australia, and then the most wild, crazy thing, Antarctica. That's why I'm sitting behind the or in front of the map. It just inspires me when I see it. This is my goal, and that's why I'm doing these podcasts for you, to help you and then help me get my goals. All right, back to neat non-activity, the non-exercise activity type genesis to your to and from your car, literally parking farther away, taking the stairs, pacing up and down calls, walking tall, right? So much. Moving around your house, being the guy that's always doing something. Summertime, when my family has outdoor nights, we have fire, and I just literally don't sit down. I don't know why, it's just moving constantly. Sitting, I don't sit down for a second. Oh, someone wants a s'more or a hot dog or something has to get from inside or the dog's barking or whatever. I'm constantly shuffling around and get probably an extra 1,000 or 2,000 steps while we're watching movies. And that NEAT is a superpower of mine. I move so much that it's a cheat code for me. Through the constant standing and fidgeting and moving and adjusting and all these things allow me to be able to burn a lot more calories than if I were to just sit the whole day. When you diet, your NEAT drops without you noticing. Literally, you are glued to a chair and it's sticky. It's hard to get up. The gravitational pull of the couch pulls you in. Waking up at 5 to go work out is, "Oh, I'm just gonna hit that snooze button." If you've listened, wildly against the snooze button. This will shrink your deficit if you're not moving. So you think you're at 2,000 calories, but you're actually at 2,300 calories, or you should be at 16 and 1,800 calories. In episode 5, I go over the nutrition pyramid and start with calories and macronutrients in episode 6. So you can re-listen to those. Okay, we're human. Our bodies expend calories and other things that you just don't even pay attention to. Is a tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. A lot of people are shocked. Oh, I can't just add oil and well, I don't. I'd rather eat peanut butter and have olive oil in a pan to keep the food from sticking. Sauces, ketchup. I hope that we're not drinking ketchup and we're using so much of it that it adds calories, but yes, it does have calories in it. Most ketchup has sugar in it, and tomato-based anything, say tomato sauce, has more calories than you realize. There's different types of protein options that people think of nuts, cheese, peanut butter. Those are fats. Okay. And then, of course, liquid calories. I'll just have one. They all add up. All right. This causes a lot of problems. Now, what we can do is run a short audit, 15-day calibration, pick a calorie number, track as best you can. You don't necessarily have to weigh and measure everything, but if you do, you'll be a lot more accurate. And I like Chronometer as my app. There's a lot of free features to track these my clients and 6, I go over macros. Episode 5, calories. Learn about those, or you can just literally ask me, send me an email, brian@brianprana.com. But you track for 14 days straight, and you step on the scale at least twice, but probably 4 or 5 times to see what happens. The weekly average is where you are paying attention to. It's the weekly average, not day-to-day fluctuation, because you will wait day to day. Weight loss is not a linear journey down. If by the end of the first week, nothing's changed, and we can either cut some calories, add some steps, and then by the second week, you should have a better recalibration on this. I always clients on 7 to 10 days of a time frame to coach them through the changes that I make. Okay. Reason 2, your deficit is too aggressive. This is huge. A lot of guys have been doing the keto or the all or nothing approach. I do not like that. I'm a middle gear mentality. That is my life. I have to figure that kids. Middle gear mentality is a made I ride or die, and I do not like all or nothing white knuckle approaches, restriction. Yeah, I will die on a hill for that every day of the week. If you're cutting your calories out, then you will break. So many guys will go Monday through Thursday or Friday and then crash. An analogy, it's an aggressive diet deficit. Aggressive deficit is like driving your truck in the red all week. Just it moves fast at first, then it runs. Okay, the gas and light goes down, and you don't have a lot of gas left. By the weekend, you're on empty, and you'll take fuel from anywhere you can get it and find it. And if you have burgers and beers on the weekend or just family fun or something, and a little too many s'mores during that summer, yeah, it's gonna come back in potentially 1 to 2,000 more calories Saturday and Sunday, and you just cleared out your deficit. That's a big problem. That's why the ride or die mentality or white knuckle is a big problem. I do not like it. Now, what we need to focus on next is making sure that we are staying track Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, paying attention to what's happening on Saturday, say in a social event, drinks, restaurant food, late night, Sunday, recovery mode from that. And if you drink too much, you might be hungover, you might end up wanting to eat more and move less anyways. And then by the time you get back to Monday, you're frustrated. This is a very cause of lack of progress. If you aggressive to diet too hard, cravings, your sleep worsens, you have less movement, your training quality drops, you're sore. You can hear that in Danny. Yesterday, he's been training hard for a ruck marathon. That means a 26.2 mile with weight on his back. He's going to walk and ruck through that whole time. This is a goal that he has, and that consequently allows him to be, say, challenged with that. You can still be beat up from the feet up, and that's what we're finding with Danny is that he is really challenged. Now, 2 strategies or maybe even 3 strategies for the weekend. Strategy number 1, 2 meals and a protein shake, a protein anchor on Saturday and Sunday. What this will do is give you 1 meal that you can enjoy, 1 meal that's in quotations salad, and then maybe a protein shake or, say cottage cheese or something like that, or Greek yogurt, and you just have that alone. That'll drastically reduce your calories and allow for a little more wiggle room at that 1 meal you go out to eat with. Strategy 2, set a drink limit that you can follow. Not I try, but an actual numbers at 2 or 3, but then you have to stop, and you have to swap the calories. You swap the starchy carb for the alcohol drink. If not, you'll drink too much, you'll eat way more than you're supposed to. Number 3 is keep your steps moving. Get more steps on the weekend if you're gonna enjoy those finer experiences around food. That's it. And now reason number 3, we're gonna go on because I keep talking too long. We're 25 minutes deep. Hope you're enjoying this, getting a lot out of it. Number 3 is you're underestimating your intake or overestimating burn. This is human nature. Most people underestimate what they eat constantly. There's studies that have shown that people have done. I remember the bowl strategy. There's a study that they had this bowl that had was on the table and it had a tube that went up underneath and it was tomato soup. Bowl kept slowly getting refilled and it always looked full enough. And then they had another bowl next to it that didn't have a, a tube pumping in more soup. The people that had the tube in their soup that slowly got refilled ate more because it never looked like they made a dent. But the ones that got to the bottom of the bowl were satiated. "Oh, I'm done." And they literally ate 100 calories less of soup. That all matters, okay? Analogy, it's like you're trying to save money while ignoring the small charges. 10 bucks here, 20 bucks there, subscriptions that you forgot about. Nothing feels like a lot, $8 here, the latte effect from Starbucks, but at the end of the month, it all adds up. Wow, where did these 2 or $300 go in accessory things that I should not have. Those are truth. And a lot of guys, again, will think that the gym covers it. Just going back to that example of what the guy was saying yesterday on my consult call. An hour, here's the truth, guys, an hour of hard workout in the gym is only going to burn 300 to 600 calories at most per person per workout. A restaurant meal is easily with two drinks, 1,500 calories without even blinking. It adds up. We want to keep, say, exercise in the strength, muscle, mindset categories for your health, and fat loss and keeping control over how much you eat. And that's important. Now, a couple other areas that I mentioned cooking oils, sauces, but healthy snacks, things like nuts, granolas, trail mix, peanut butters, they're fine to eat, but they're a tablespoon of peanut butter is 100 calories. A quarter cup of nuts is 100 calories. A third of a cup of granola can be over 100 calories depending on what's in it, okay? This is a big challenge, right? Don't forget about some of the liquid calories that go into splashes in your drinks. It all adds up, or supplements. If you're taking supplements, a fish oil can be 50 calories. There are calories in supplements that people don't account for, and that with a drive-by Snickers fun size bar out of the office candy jar, there's there's 100 calories that you're not doing. Lastly, something that I might be a culprit here, and I remember this time down, we travel a lot, as I mentioned. Our first trip, we went as a family from Akron, Ohio, where I live, to San Antonio, and all the stuff in major cities, Rock, Nashville, and where else? Dallas and all sorts of really cool places. Major city, Memphis, and hanging out there. But we'd go to Embassy Suites, and they had an omelet bar. Oh, it was so good. I'd always get an egg white omelet because I knew I needed to spare the calories. But then I would eat my kids' breakfast because they would overgrab. This was when they were, I believe I might have been 6 and our daughter being 2 or 3 at the time. And I would just eat 1,500 calories at the continental breakfast. By it was a 10-day trip. By 10 days, I was getting fat, and I realized, "Holy cow." I 1, I was getting a little frustrated at the kids that they kept over grabbing, but again, they're kids, and but then it's my fault to eat. This compulsion that I Clean Plate Club, maybe you know that. So, oh, goodness. So I would overeat, and that would be a big problem. Going back to how do we solve this? Pay attention for 2 weeks, very conscious of what you're eating and why you're doing it so that you are there. Reason number 4 is stress and sleep are a big challenge. with a lot of guys, your mind roams. You wake up 2, 3 in the morning, you go to sleep because of work, because of this broke or the check engine light's on in your car, or for me, a well pump that just randomly went out. Now we don't have water in the house because we have a well. That's a problem, and I need to get a solution to that ASAP because if kids and the laundry and dishes back up, you have serious problems. Okay, and your wife is not gonna like it if you don't get it fixed soon. You will quickly run out and be a big it'll be a challenge for you to manage that. So here's a simple analogy of the like sleep and the stress. You're trying to lose weight while you're overstressed, underslept. It's like driving with your parking brake on. The car still moves. It takes a lot more effort, burns more fuel, energy, bandwidth, your willpower, motivation, and why is this not that's because it doesn't, and you can't leave with your health and focus on it if you're on shoot. Sleep is huge. Going back to Danny, he's definitely been seeing a difference in the way he trained before and then while he's training with me, and he's in a calorie deficit, lost 20 some pounds while doing all this training. He has a 12-mile ruck tomorrow. We have to navigate. He has to sleep or he will beat up. We did see this week was one of the first weeks where the training started to get best of. Okay. You have to sleep. Definitely 6, but 7 is quite better. Right. You also need to find some nights in the week that you can sleep more than maybe others. You have to have a bedtime routine. Lucas in episode 34 talked about Lucas and his screens, bed, and how we were able to control those. So everyone's gonna tell you if you go into any sleep expert, you need to have some sort of a shutdown routine that allows you to wind down the bed. One of my favorite is Sudoku. I don't have my phone in my bedroom. I'll play Sudoku. I'll just write pencil on paper and what number goes in this box. That really helps me to shut my brain off and literally within minutes I'm falling asleep. All right. And let's get to reason number 5. You're not giving it enough time. People, 7 to 10 days is the time frame that you assess where your progress is. Stop thinking it's 2. Hey, I always joke, but, "Hey, talk with Coach Brian on day 1, I'll be down 5 pounds day 2." Sorry, unfortunately, that's not how it works, and if we zoom out, almost anyone's journey is up and down, up and down, up and down, but the trend goes down, okay? The trend is going down, and there's so many different reasons from all the things we talked about. Your body retaining water or salt, or maybe you had a lot more stress or your sleep was down, you have sore muscles and there's inflammation. Maybe you traveled and you're flying in a tube in the sky and there's retention. Your bowels, you didn't get to the bathroom on time. Alcohol holds weight to you. These are all things that add to it, and you need to make sure that you paying attention. If you're stalled, here's the order to fix it. You're gonna check your adherence for 14 days. Where are you truly in a deficit every single day because it matters. Number 2 is you're gonna confirm accuracy. Make sure that you're going through oil, sauce, taste, bites, drinks, weekends, restaurants, snacking your kids' food. 3, you're gonna confirm the calories using an app, say Cronometer. 4, you're gonna make small adjustments, looking about 150, 200 calories at a time and adding maybe 2,000 steps. Do that for 2 weeks, step on the scale every 3rd day, you will get some real good feedback on what you're supposed to do. You don't have to do something wild and crazy. Now, if you want my eyes on your situation, I have something called the Health Hot Seat. You send me the basics, what you're eating, what you're doing for training, your steps, sleeps, what the scale has do the last couple of weeks or months, and tell me what's holding you back in life. And then I'll be able to give you details. We can jump on a training. If you want an example, it was episode 35. Go back that I had a health hot seat with someone and we made a lot of good progress. We're ending today on that. I hope that you really enjoyed this conversation, that this gave you a little more insight as to why you are stalled in a weight situation. And really need to look through for the breadcrumbs to see where success is or is not. Check your weekends, check your late nights habits, check your sleep, all those things. And if the show helped, leave a review or jump on to a health hot seat with me and I can help you out even further.